What's your craziest small town rumor? In Millbrook, we had Mayor Hayes for like 28 years straight. Same guy, same cheap blue suit, same everything. He'd show up to the town council meetings every Tuesday night, sit in his usual spot, and barely say 10 words the whole time. What was weird though, was that he never did more than one thing per day. Like, if he had a morning meeting at City Hall, you wouldn't see him at the afternoon parade. If he went to the school board meeting on Thursday, he'd skip the Friday morning coffee with the seniors at the diner. People started joking about it. My mom would say, Mayor Hayes must be charging his batteries, when he'd disappear for days. Mrs. Fletcher from the grocery store swore he looked different heights depending on the day, sometimes taller, sometimes shorter. Then there were the scars. I kid you not, one week he'd have this small scar above his left eyebrow, and the next week it would be gone. Or he'd have a mole on his cheek that wasn't there before. Kids at school made up stories that he was an alien or something. The weirdest part was how he never aged, like at all. When I was in elementary school, he looked exactly the same as when I graduated high school. Same wrinkles, same gray hair pattern, everything. My dad worked at the hardware store and said Mayor Hayes would come in sometimes asking for the strangest stuff. One day he'd need specific light bulbs for his office. The next day he'd ask for the exact same light bulbs again, like he'd never bought them before. The whole twin theory became this running joke in town. People would see him at the bank in the morning and then swear they saw him at the gas station an hour later, when there was no way he could have gotten there that fast in his old Honda. It got so ridiculous that during the 2019 election, some high school kids made campaign posters that said, "Vote for Mayor Hayes," and Mayor Hayes. Everyone thought it was hilarious. Then last spring happened. That massive storm knocked down half the trees in town, including the giant oak that crashed right through City Hall. Emergency crews rushed in to check for anyone trapped inside. They found 2 bodies in the wreckage, both in the exact same blue suit, both with the same face, both the same age. The DNA tests came back a week later. Twin brothers, born 3 minutes apart according to their birth certificates that nobody had ever bothered to really look at closely. Turns out Robert and Richard Hayes had been splitting the mayor job this whole time. One handled all the paperwork and boring meetings. The other did the public stuff like parades and ribbon cuttings. They'd switch off depending on what needed doing. When the surviving brother finally explained everything, he said they didn't want to run against each other in elections, so they just decided to be one person instead. Nobody ever questioned it because Millbrook is the kind of place where people mind their own business. The crazy part is,